Hello everyone, and thanks for joining in on this first of 5 art class for beginners. And I want to remind all viewers that all great artists were once beginners. Each of the next 5 Fridays, we will explore various objects commonly found in your home or neighborhood. Each lesson will build on the previous class. And thank you for your generous donation to Food for Thought. And you can learn more about their mission and purpose by clicking on this link to their website. In the past year, Food for Thought has served over 165,000 meals to those in need. And a special shout out to Marie, one of the fine cooks at Food for Thought, who first introduced me to the work that she and her team work tirelessly to feed people in your and my neighborhood. And Marie is also joining in on this series of classes. Hello, Marie. And let me introduce myself. I am S. Gordon Harwood, and I live here in Ottawa. And a warm welcome to you all. We are going to learn about how to observe the different shades of color that make up an object that we wish to paint or draw. And then you will get a chance to draw an apple. But first, let me tell you about my experiences in drawing apples. I've been painting since 2006, and I use various subjects for my artworks. I began with apples. And before I begin another series of art, it's often necessary for me to begin to relearn some of the principles of art and observation dealing with color and texture and space. And I will often turn to apples in order to reset my brain and my creative energy before pursuing my next art project. And I use apples as a way to go back to the basics of color and shape and texture and form. And apples serve as a warm-up, just like a good morning stretch or like yoga in the morning before a strenuous workout. Coincidentally, my next major show is planned for September 2021, and I'm presently returning to the principles of using apples as my warm-up. So this is where we are going to start in this series of 5 lessons for the art beginner. I hope you will enjoy this journey with me. Last year at this time, I led this same series of classes to a group of neighbors on my street and asked them to send me their artwork so that I could show others what they had created. And I will ask you to do the same in this series. And don't worry, all entries will remain anonymous. At the end of the series, I will present a virtual art opening, a vernissage to showcase our artworks that you can share with your friends and family. So let's begin. Now, it is your turn. We're going to draw an apple. But before we draw, we need to observe. And one of the techniques of observation that I use is squinting. When I close my eyes, the colors begin to fade into shades of gray, at which moment I begin to see the medium, the light, and the dark shades. When you look at this apple, we can see these shades of color. Take a moment and close your eyes and squint. And what do you see? Perhaps this will help you see the light, medium, and dark shades as if you were squinting. We see the light shades, the medium shades, and the dark shades. And let's not forget the shadows. This simple shadow is a reminder to us that the apple is placed on a surface of some kind and not simply floating in the air. Okay, take a seat. You can use crayons, pencils, paints, watercolors, construction paper, even Play-Doh. And I'm going to draw along with you. We're going to draw this tasty apple, and I'm going to use acrylic crayons in this first class. Are you ready? Let's go. So I'm going to start and just draw in the outline of this. Try and get the shape of the apple. I'm not too worried about how round it is. And then I'll start to draw in some of the outline here. And by the way, these acrylic crayons are great for use. You can get them at any art store. I also note that there's a little indent at the top of the apple. I'll be concerned about what colors I use to draw that in later. But I note that there's this huge band of lighter shades at the upper left. So I want to just preserve that. And I'm going to color around it with these darker shades. And don't worry about imperfections at this stage. And I see that I'm going to have to draw this in a bit because there is no white on this, or just simply lighter shades. And I also observe that there is some yellow in here. So I'm going to use that to color in that, and now this indent, the top of the apple, where the stem goes. And these crayons tend to be rather forgiving. You can always draw over them or around them. And I'm going to use some blue here now to really darken up this front part of the apple. And now I can really darken it by adding back some of the red. Some of the blue will begin to fade into darker shades of red. And once again, we observe the lighter, the dark, and the medium tones. And don't forget the shadow. Now there won't be time to finish this complete apple in the time that we have, but you'll see the finished apple when I'm done. Maybe time to squint again so that we can observe the light and medium and dark shades. Try this again yourself. Squint and observe. And how is your apple coming along? There's a surprising amount of yellow in this apple. I'll race ahead and finish this apple so you can see the final product. And here we are. Note the green stem I've added, and yes, I added that shadow to give some sense that this apple is sitting on some surface of some kind. And here, once again, are some submissions from students from last year. And now that this class is finished, you can complete your artwork on your own. And please send me your artwork to sgh@gallerypapillon.ca. And I want to remind you that all entries sent to me will remain anonymous. And I look forward to seeing you in our next class. And thanks again for supporting the work of Food for Thought. And we'll see you next Friday. And don't forget to send me your artwork. Have a great Friday.